Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Ascot Racecourse here on Saturday. It is October the 20th, 2018. I'm going to look at all the races on today's program from Ascot here on British Champions Day. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. Also, join me next week for my Cox Plate preview video. I think that's going to be a very good race, and I think you can find a price in that race. Who will it be? You just have to find out next week. Also, join me in 2 weeks from now for my Breeders' Cup preview. Excellent card of racing this year. In the Breeders' Cup this year is going to be a good few races, and you can make some money with that fixture. So join me here on YouTube for those previews and selections. Also, join me that following Tuesday for my Melbourne Cup preview video. That looks like it's going to be a great race. Also, great card from Flemington. So we have some good races all around the world coming up, and today's card from Ascot's a good one. It's British Champions Day. Some races you're going to see chalk come in, or the favorite, shall we say, and some other races you might see some long shots come in. So let's get on to it. We have 6 races to look at. Let's start off with the first race, the 125. The 125 from Ascot, it's the Group 2 British Champions Long Distance Cup. It's a Group 2 race for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $715,500. I use the American currency because it's just easier for me. I don't use the pound, so just keep that in mind. This race is for 3-year-olds and upwards. We're supposed to have a field of 7 horses, but we have 1 horse scratch or non-runner. That's going to be the 2-horse Mount Moria. So we're down to a field of 6 horses, staying the distance of ground of 3,200 meters, or the distance of ground of 2 miles on the turf course. Top selection here, I'm going to stay away from Stradivarius. I think he's had a very tough campaign, and I think he might be beatable in this race. I think the 4-horse Thomas Hobson is a logical horse to run a big one, so I'll use him as a top selection. I'll go 4-3-6 in the TriCast of the trifecta. 4-3-6 TriCast trifecta. I give TriCast or trifectas out because basically that's my top 3. Say the day of the race, Thomas Hobson's withdrawn, scratched, non-runner. My top selection would then be Stradivarius. If Stradivarius is scratched out of it, my top selection then would be the Flag of Honor, the 6th horse, so that's why I give him out. So, but my top selection of 4-horse Thomas Hobson, supposed to have Andrea Dazzini up, but he's actually going to have to serve a ban from the French racing, France Gallop. So, you have a change of rider to Ocean Murphy here, which shouldn't be a problem. Willie Mullins trains his 8-year-old gun by hauling. This horse's most recent outing came the 14th of September at Doncaster, 2 miles and a quarter in the Group 2 Doncaster Cup. He won by a half length. It was his first victory of the year out of 3 offerings, and he had a great turn of foot, just getting in there at the end. A good run. Before that, the Curragh mile 3/4 in the Group 3 Irish St. Ledger Trial. He finished 5th by 2.5 lengths behind Flag of Honor. He never got into the race. I think the distance was just a little bit too short for him there. And then back here at Ascot, a mile 3/4 and a Class 2 conditions race, the final race for Royal Ascot. He finished 6th by 17 lengths. He just couldn't get the winner, who ran a hell of a race. But he ran last year's Melbourne Cup at Flemington, 2 miles, where he finished 6th by 9.25 lengths. If he had a better post draw that day, he could have won. But he was drawn in the parking lot, 21 out of 23, and he didn't save enough ground. Last year he finished 2nd in the Doncaster Cup, and he finished 7th in the Lonsdale Cup last season also. But I think coming into this race, 4th start of the year, very fresh horse. I think he could get a piece fit. 6-1, watch out for him. Stradivarius, the 3-horse, he's 4-5 here as the favorite for John Gosden and Frankie Dettori. He's run, 4 times this year and run 4 good races. But, with every race, I've noticed he's just getting a little, every race for him now is getting a little shakier because you could see a tired horse. It's going to be, so far this year, he's run over 8 miles, it seems. And today it's going to be, this year with this race, they're going to be putting 10 miles in the gallon with this one for the year, for the yearly intake for him. But, his last one, he won the Lonsdale Cup at York very nicely. But, at the end, maybe he looked a little tired. He won the Goodwood Cup very nicely. And then probably his best race of the year, I think, was the Gold Cup on this course back in in mid-June, where he won by 3 quarters length, quickening up nicely, beating Vizierabad. And then before that, he won the Yorkshire Cup very nicely. But he's the kind of horse, he doesn't like running on wet ground. He loves firm ground. The wet ground's going to be quite a question with him. If he wins, I'll applaud him. But, it's just, he scares me today, because I think it's a very tough campaign he's had so far this year. And I think you're going to see, if it's not today, it's going to be next start, if he has a next start this year. But, he's going to be digressing a little bit, I think. He ran this race last year and he finished third by length behind Order St. George, where he ran absolutely crap. But, I just don't fancy him a lot. I think Tums Hobson's a more logical horse. I think he's going to be a little bit fresher, so I'll take him as a top pick. So to recap my selections for the first from Ascot, the 125, it's the Group 2 British Champions Long Distance Cup. Top selection used a 4-horse, Tums Hobson. Going to go 4-3-6 in the tricast of the trifecta. So now let's get on to race number 2, the 2 o'clock from Ascot. It is the Group 1 British Champions Sprint Stakes. Group 1 race for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $854,000. This race is for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 14 horses, going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the turf course. Top selection, I like the 5-horse Harry's Angel. I'm going to go 5-4-2 in the tricast of the trifecta. 5-4-2 tricast trifecta. Top selection of 5-horse Harry's Angel. Adam Kirby's on this one for Clive Cox, is 4-year-old colt by Dark Angel. Godolphin owns. The horse's most recent outing came the 8th of September at Haydock. 6 furlongs in the Group 1 Sprint Cup Stakes. The horse finished 6th by 4 1/4 lengths. It was his first start since Royal Ascot, and I think he needed the race. He never got into it, weakened out of it, under the drive, and wasn't excelling. I think he was second off the break. I think he'll run a lot better. Before that, he ran here at Ascot the 23rd of June, 6 furlongs in the Group 1 Diamond Jubilee, and all chances were lost to start that day. Finished 11th by 23 lengths, never got into it, way out of it. It just wasn't the day to win. And then before then, the Duke of York Clipper Logistics Stakes, York, 6 furlongs, May the 16th. He won by 2 lengths. He only had 4 of the rivals there, but he just had a great turn of foot and won for fun. He ran this race last year where he finished 4th by 2 1/4 lengths, under the drive most of the race, and he just never got there at the end. But I think coming into this race off the, with a not so tough summer campaign this year, I think you'll see a little bit of a fresher horse, and I think he can get a piece of it. 5-1, watch out for him. A horse will play maybe at a little bit of a long shot play in this race would be the number 4 horse, Dream of Dreams. Rye Moore's on this one for Sir Michael Stout, this 4-year-old colt by Dream Ahead. He's coming out of the Group 3 Benno Stakes here at Ascot a few weeks ago, 6 furlongs October the 6th. He finished second by a neck behind Projection, who was also running back in this one. This horse just missed at the end, closed up well, wasn't a bad run. Before that, 26th of August at Goodwood, 7 furlongs in the Supreme Stakes. He finished second by 3/4 length behind Anonirium. And again, he had a great turn of foot at the end. He just missed, but he ran well. And then the Hungerford Stakes at Newbury, 7 furlongs August 18th. Finished second by 1/4 lengths behind Sir Dance-A-Lot. And again, he wasn't going to catch the winner, but he had a great turn of foot at the end. If there's some late changing in the final furlong of the race, I think you could see this horse up there. If he gets a good clear trip at 20-1, I think this horse could upset. Not very often you see Rye Moore at 20-1, but I think this is one of his better chances of the day. So watch out for this horse also. And a horse I have third of my tricast who could possibly get a piece of it, but I like him third best here would be the 2-horse Brando. Jamie Spencer's on this one. He finished second in the Sprint Cup a few weeks ago. Haydock by half a length. He just missed behind the Tin Man, the old man, who was running back this one also and won this race, I believe in 2016, the Tin Man. But this horse, he closed up well there. He had a great improvement off the race before it came in France in the Prix de Mars de Geest, where he finished 8th by 6.5 lengths, never quickening up. And then he ran second in the July Cup. He's run some good races against Group 1 horses, but today he's going to have to, run on quite demanding ground. And, he's good enough to win, but if he seems like a little bit of a quirky horse at times. He sometimes never gets into the race, but possibly get a piece of it. But I like him third best here. But to recap my selections for the second from Ascot, the 2 o'clock, it's the Group 1 British Champion Sprint Stakes. As a top selection, I'll use the number 5 horse here, Harry's Angel. I'll go 5-4-2 in the tricast of the trifecta, and as a bit of a long shot play or a price play, I'll use the 4 horse Dream of Dreams. So 5-4. Those are 2 horses that we do each way wagers on. So now let's get on to race number 3 from Ascot. Race number 3, the 240 from Ascot. It's the Group 1 British Champions Fillies and Mares Stakes. It's a Group 1 race for Class 1 horses going for a purse of $810,000. This race is for 3-year-olds and upwards, fillies and mares only. Field of 11 horses going 2,400 meters or a mile and a half on the turf course. My top selection here, I like the number 8 horse Latidar. I'm going to go 8-4-1 in the tricast of the trifecta. 8-4-1 tricast trifecta. Top selection 8 horse Latidar, owned by Andrew Lloyd Webber. John Gosden trains. Frankie Dettori picks up the mount on this trio filly by DeBowie. The horse's most recent outing came the 15th of September at Doncaster, facing the boys. A mile 13/16 in the Group 1 St. Ledger. The horse had a very good second place finish by 2.5 lengths behind Kew Gardens. His horse was coming at the end, just lagged a little bit, but it was a good run there for her. Ran a lot better than I expected her to. Before that, in the at York, August 23rd, a mile and a half in a listed stakes. First off, a long break. She won by 10 lengths, and she just destroyed that field. A very good victory there. And then before that, Newmarket, the 6th of May, a mile and a quarter in a listed stakes for fillies. She won by 3 1/4 lengths, and again, she just won for fun. She was on track to go to the Oaks after that, but then she got sick, and she had to missed the Oaks in most of the summer. She came back to win at York very nicely and during the Ebor. And then she made her debut just a few weeks earlier at Newbury, 20th of April, mile and a quarter in Maiden's Filly Class 4. She won by 6 lengths, and again, it's a 7-2 favorite. She just won for fun. She's run 4 good races. I think a step down in class from her last one. A step down in trip also should really help. I like her a lot. She's proven she can run on demanding ground also. She won on demanding ground at Newbury back on her first outing. I like her a lot here today. There's not a lot you could do with 6-5 odds, I know, but you'll have to TriCast to make some extra money with this one. But to recap my selections for the third now, from Ascot, the 240, it's the Group 1 British Champions and Fillies and Mares Stakes. Going to go with the 8 horse Latidar. I'm going to go 8-4-1 in the TriCast of the trifecta. So now let's get on to race number 4. Race number 4 from Ascot, the 315. It's the Group 1 Queen Elizabeth II Stakes. It's a Group 1 race for Class 1 horses going for a purse of $1.5 million. This race is for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 15 horses going 1,600 meters or 1 mile down the straight mile. Top selection here, I like the number 3 horse Century Dream. Gonna go 3-11-7 in the tricast of the trifecta. 3-11-7 tricast trifecta. Top selection of 3 horse Century Dream. 4-year-old colt by Cape Cross. William Buick gets the leg up for Simon Crisford. The horse's most recent outing came the 11th of August here in America in Chicago at Arlington, mile and a quarter in the Group 1 Arlington Million or Grade 1 Arlington Million. The horse finished third by 2.5 lengths, and he came out in the stretch, which, cost him a lot of interference with the horses. Don't agree with the call there, but, he just never got that good kick. I did back him that day, but he just never really ran. Before that, in the Summer Mile at Ascot, locally, 1 mile, July the 14th, the horse finished fourth by 3 1/4 lengths, and he just kind of weakened out of it going up the final few strides of the race. Maybe the ground was a little bit dry for this horse. He's the kind of horse that's going to like the little wetter ground today, but, it just wasn't the day to win. But before then, the Group 1 Queen Anne here at Royal Ascot, 1 mile, June the 19th, on the course, he finished fourth by 3/4 length, and he had a decent turn of foot. It wasn't a bad race there. And then the Diomed at Epsom, a mile 16th, June the 2nd, he won by 2 1/4 lengths. Speed from the inside, he just took off clear. Another easy victory. And then he won a listed stakes here at Ascot in early May, going a mile in soft ground, won by neck. She just destroyed the field, but he wasn't 100% there either. But he did destroy the field. I think here today, good post drum. Should like the going. 15-1. I like him a lot. So I'll take him as a top selection. You have to also talk about the 11 horse Roaring Lion, this 3-year-old colt by Kitten's Joy. Ocean Murphy gets the leg up for John Gosden. He's 2-1 here. His most recent outing came at Leopardstown, a mile and a quarter in the Irish Champions. He won by a neck, just beating Saxon Warrior. That was a great final furlong there, the fight between those two horses. He got there in the end. Good victory there. Before that, in the Jedmont International, he won by 3 1/4 lengths, and he just put on the race of his life. Quickened up nicely. Good victory there. And then the Eclipse at Sandown, a mile and a quarter. He won by a neck, and again, he got there in the end, but it wasn't the most impressive victories, but he got it. I think the Jedmont was a little bit better than the Eclipse, but they ran him in the Derby before that, where he finished third, and he just never really quickened up. Maybe the mile and a half was a little bit too long for him, but it just wasn't the day to win. And then before that, in the Dante at York, he won by 4.5 lengths and just destroyed the field. Could have won by more, but got eased up at the end. He loves a mile quarter, but a mile is going to be the biggest question for him today. You know, maybe it's a little bit too short because he ran the Guineas earlier this year and he didn't really run terrific. He ran okay, but I think the mile and a quarter is going to be down the line his better race. But stranger things have happened with these kind of horses, and you know, I might use him in like an exacta box, or if there was a multi-race wager, I'd use him there. But you know, he's a decent horse. Wonder what are they going to do next with this horse? Are they going to bring him you know, are they going to keep him down for the winter, or are they gonna run him one more time this year at in the Breeders' Cup, possibly the Breeders' Cup Classic? That'd be quite nice to see him because he does have some Breeders' Cup pedigree in him. Breeders' Cup Classic pedigree in him. He had Street Sense, who finished second, I believe, in 2007 in the Classic at Monmouth. So he can run on dirt, possibly, but we'll have to wait and see what's up with this horse after this race. But he does have a live chance here. Another horse I want to talk about, a little live chance, would be the 7-horse also, Recoletos. Olivier Pellier gets the leg up. He's coming out of the Group 1 Prix Moline de Longchamp at Longchamp the 9th of September, going 1 mile. He won by a head, beating Wind Chimes. This horse had a great turn of foot. Got there in the end, a good victory there. Before that, in the Prix Jacques Le Maurice at Deauville, 1 mile, August 12th, he finished second by 2.5 lengths, and it was his first start off a break, and he never got the good kick. Don't think he really liked Longchamp. And then he ran here in the Queen Anne over this course and distance back in June, where he finished 7th by 3.25 lengths, and he never got into it. He's a horse, again, should like the wet ground. He has a decent post draw. 5-1, I think he has a little bit of a live chance also, so watch out for him. But to recap my selections now for the 4th from Ascot, the 3:15, it's the Group 1 QE2, the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. Gonna go with the 3-horse Century Dream. Gonna go 3:11.7 in the tricast of the trifecta. So now let's get on to today's featured 5th race. Race number 5 from Ascot, the 350. It's the feature race of the afternoon. It's the Group 1 Champion Stakes. Group 1 race for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of just under $1.8 million. This race is for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 8 horses, tackling the distance of ground of 2,000 meters or 1 mile and 1/4 on the turf course. Top selection here. I like the 2-horse Cracksman. I think coming back to off the break on wet ground, I think that's going to be the key to this horse. And also, this race is not nearly as tough as some of the other races he's faced, and I just think he'll run a big one. I'll go 2-1-3 in the tricast, so the trifecta. 2-1-3 tricast trifecta. Top selection of 2-horse Cracksman. This 4-year-old colt by Frankel. Frankie Dettori gets the leg up for John Gosden. This horse won this race last year very nicely by 7 lengths on quite similar ground. They gave Cracksman gave Frankie Dettori his first win in this race, and you know, he just won for fun. But since then, he's run 4 times, and you know, he has 3 victories out of the 4 times, but he ran 2 crap races. We'll get to that in a second, because his last run ran the 20th of June at Royal Ascot, locally, mile and a quarter on firm ground in the Group 1 Prince of Wales. The horse finished second by 2.25 lengths and just never concentrated on the race. Most of the race, if you watch the replay, Frankie Dettori, he's just kind of like trying to get him to concentrate, and he just never ran with them, never quickened up. It wasn't the day to win. The dry ground probably had something to do with it also, but you know, it just wasn't his day. You know, before the race, you know, John Gosden, being you know, quite funny occasionally, said he saw the fillies from the previous race, Cracksman, and he got a little bit excited, shall we say, and he really wasn't concentrating onto the race. Maybe that was the excuse, but you know, he just never really ran. But today with the soft ground, I think he'll do a lot better. Before that, he ran it up some. 1.5 miles on June the 1st in the Group 1 Coronation Cup. He won by head, and out of the gate, he hit the gate going out of it, and for the first 2 furlongs going around the turn, he just, you know, was in a daze. He finally got up there in the end with a great turn of foot just in the nick of time, but it wasn't the best race for him. And then before that, in the Prix Guinée at Longchamp, mile and a quarter, April 29th, that day you saw the old Cracksman. He won by 4 lengths off the break. He just destroyed the field. A very good race. You know, that was his first race since last year's British Champions, where he won the Champion Stakes, where he won last year by 7 lengths. And then if you look at the races he ran in late 2017, he won the Prix Neil very nicely at Shanty last September by 3.5 lengths, quickening up nicely. And then he won the Great Voltaire at York in 2017 on yielding ground by 6 lengths. Easy race. Could have won by more, but Frankie Dettori pulled the horse up at the end. You know, he's a good horse. He likes the wet ground. Off the break, I think he'll really do well. Just looking over the other horses in this race, I just don't think anybody's going to come close to this horse's worst race, let alone best race. So, watch out from here today. So to recap my selections for the fifth, the 350 from Ascot's to Group 1 Champion Stakes. Going to go with the 2-horse Cracksman. Going to go 2-1-3 in the TriCast of the trifecta. So now let's get on to race number 6 to 4:30 from Ascot. It is the Balmoral Handicap. It's a Class 2 handicap going for a purse of $337,000. This race is for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 20 horses going 1,600 meters or 1 mile down the straightaway course. Very wide open race here. I'll give you 3 horses that I think can win. The 3 horses I like are going to be the 2-horse Hathal. I like the 6-horse also Mitchum Swagger. And I also like the number 12-horse Via Via. So 2, 6, 12 for me here in the Balmoral Handicap. I'll probably do an exacta box or forecast box with all 3 of them, and depending on the odds, I might do a small each way on all 3 of them, but we'll have to wait and see what the odds at post. But the first horse we'll talk about is number 2-horse Hathel. Jamie Spencer's on this one for James Osborne, this 6-year-old horse by Spicetown, who's best be remembered as winning the 2004 Breeders' Cup Sprint at Lone Star in quite fast time. But this horse's most recent outing came the 19th of September at Sandown, 1 mile listed stakes. He finished second by 1 3/4 lengths there, and he just couldn't get that good final kick at the end. First starting a little bit, maybe he needed the race, but he should have improved there a little bit more. This race, he's back to a handicap today, which I don't think is, which I think is to his liking. I think the listed stakes would maybe be a little bit too tough for him. Definitely his last time in group quality horses, was a crap race. That came at Salisbury, 16th of August, 1 mile in the Sovereign Stakes, Group 3 Sovereign Stakes. He finished 6 by 9.5 lengths, and he just hit the wall completely. The winner Plumata came over from France to run the victory. This horse just wasn't keeping up with him. Off the break also, he ran 30th of June, 30th of September of 2017 was his previous race at Shunti, 1 mile in the Group 2 pre-Daniel Vadstein Stakes. He finished 4th by 2 lengths, and he had a little bit of a turn of foot, but again, tight track at Shunti. He never got around the turns well. And then before that, Goodwoods, 26th of August 2017, 1 mile in the Celebration Mile, finished 3rd by 3/4 length. He just couldn't get that good kick at the end. He has run some good races in the past, but that was as a 5-year-old and 4-year-old. This year as a 6-year-old, he's run 2 races and 1 decent race, 1 okay race, and 1 crap race. I think to a handicap today with a good post draw, I think he'd get a piece of it. Jamie Spencer is one of the best riders in the world, if not the best rider in the world, going down a straight mile. So 20-1. Take my chances with him. If I get 20-1 on him, my post time, of course, I'll do an each way wager on him. But another horse I'll use here is the 6-horse Mitchum Swagger. Harry Bentley's on him. Ralph Beckett trained 6-year-old given by Paco Boy. This horse's most recent outing came the 28th of September at Haydock, 1 mile in the Class 2 handicap. He finished 6 by 5 lengths there, and he just hit the wall most of the race. Never got into it under the drive, and he just wasn't excelling. First start off the break, probably need the race. His race before came 24th of March at Doncaster in the Lincoln. That day he finished 3rd by 3 lengths, and he just, right before the wire, he just hit the wall, couldn't keep up with them. It was his first race since October the 7th of 2017 here at Ascot with 7 furlongs in a Class 2 handicap. He finished 12th by 19 lengths, and again, he just hit the wall completely. But I think here's second off the break, first time he's running a quick turnaround in quite a while. I think that's going to be key to this horse's victory. He hasn't won since the 4th of August 2017. That came at Thirsk in a 7 furlongs Class 3 conditions. He won by 2.5 lengths, and he won for fun. After that, he finished 5th and 3rd, 2 Red Mile, Haydock, tough race. Throw that one out, and then he ran an absolute crap race here at Ascot last autumn. But I think here today, low weight, quick turnaround again. I think he could get a piece of it. 15-1 in a very wide open race. Watch out for him. And another horse I would use here is the number 12 horse, Via Via. Ryan Moore's on this one for James Tate, the 6-year-old horse by Luke de Vega. This horse's most recent appearance came 28th of September at Haydock, Newmarket. Newmarket, 1 mile and 8th in a Class 2 handicap. Wide poster. That was a very tough 33 horse handicap a few weeks ago. He finished 3rd by 4.5 lengths. He just never got into it. He did beat most of the field home, but it still wasn't his best race because he never quickened up. Before that, 17th of August in Newmarket, 1 mile in the July course in a Class 3. The horse finished second by a length. He got off the hill well. The winner just got the jump on him, but he ran a decent effort there. And then at Redcar, the end of May, 1.25 miles in a Class 2 handicap, finished 9th by 13 lengths, weakened out of it, never got into it. I think with the step down class, wet ground, good rider, I think this horse could can get a piece of it also. 10 to 1, watch out for him. So to recap my selections for the 6 to 4:30 from Ascot, it's the Balmoral Handicap. I'm going to use 3 horses here, and I'll put them all into an exacta box, or forecast box. I'm going to use the 2-horse Hathel. I'm going to use the 6-horse Mitchum Swagger, and I'll use the 12-horse Via Via. So it's 2, 6, 12 for me here in the Balmoral. Like I said, I'm going to do probably a 3-horse exacta box for $1. It's going to cost $6, and I'll probably do an each way wager on possibly 2 or 3 of them. And if I had to give you a top selection out of the 3 of them, it would probably be the 2-horse Half Owl. But it's a very wide open race, like I said, and that's why I gave you 3. But good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world. Also join me next week for my Cox Plate preview video, and also join me the week after for my Breeders' Cup preview video, and the week after that, the Melbourne Cup. I will have a preview for those races also. So good luck, everybody, and hopefully we make some money today.